Hi, my name is Dick Lowenthal, and I'm here to invite you to something very exciting at the Arts Garage. It's called Jazz and Java, and it will start Tuesday, January 23rd from 10 in the morning until 11:30, and it will run for 10 consecutive weeks. And we're going to listen and discuss some great music. And you don't have to be a jazz musician to sign up for it. I've taught high school students and college undergraduate and graduate and doctoral students and adults, and I worked for 10 years doing jazz lectures on Crystal Cruises, so I have a whole background in the music. I love the music, and I think you're going to find it very informative, educational, and fun. So what we're going to be doing while we're meeting for the 10 weeks is listening to a lot of music. We're going to start with early jazz, pre-Dixieland, and then we'll go to New Orleans and we'll discuss why New Orleans became really the center of jazz in the early 1900s. And while we're there, we're of course going to discuss Louis Armstrong, and we'll trace his development from New Orleans to Chicago to New York, and what made Louis Armstrong Ambassador Satch. And we'll find out why he was called Satch. But why was he the ambassador to jazz, and why was he influential on a lot of jazz musicians and also a lot of vocalists like Billie Holiday and even Bing Crosby and some other vocalists. Then we're also going to discuss the Great Depression and why did that lead to the swing era. And once we get to the swing era, we'll talk about Benny Goodman, called the King of Swing. We'll talk about Tommy Dorsey and that young singer you might have heard of that he had with him named Frank Sinatra. And we'll also go through some of the other great big bands, Harry James, Gene Krupa. So we'll discuss that whole swing era when jazz and popular music were one and the same. And then toward the end of the 10 weeks, we'll get into World War II and how that affected the music. And we'll get into the early bebop era. Also, we'll be spending quite a bit of time on the music of Duke Ellington, his 6 decades of jazz, and Count Basie, his 5 decades of jazz. So we really would do a lot of covering of both of those great big bands. I think you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to have fun. And by the way, I think I forgot, the course is called Jazz and Java. So we will be providing every morning coffee and your favorite pastries while we sit and listen and talk about this great music called jazz. So join me January 23rd. I hope to see many of you there. The class is filling up pretty quickly, so we don't want to have anybody be not able to join us. January 23rd, 10 a.m. Thank you.
Don't mean a thing, all you gotta do